Hi guys, so I'm back to show you how I decorate the bag today. In my last video I showed you how to do these little writing papers which were decoupaged with napkin and stamped and gessoed on like this, and I thought they were absolutely stunning. I thought they were really pretty, and a lovely little extra to add into your journals, and that's the envelope that I finished to match. So I've added some sort of like bits of seam binding and fabric and a bit of lace, and then let me just show you, let me just open this up like this, and I've put some book pages inside it, so I thought that was really nice. So that all goes together. So what I thought I'd do is I should show you how I decorate the bags. So this one I've actually added some little tags onto here. So I'm just going to show you today how I did the bag, and I thought that looks really lovely. A few of you ladies have told me that this is a delphinium, I think you said. So there we go. I'm not very good at my flowers. So right, so what I'm going to do, these are the bags here, which is just like a little sort of like a little sandwich bag. Let me just measure it for you. So what are we? We have got 5 inches by 9¼ inches, and then we've got the little pocket here. Well, it's the bottom of the bag, which we're going to make into the little pocket. So this one I've already inked up for you, because you don't need to see me do that. So let's pop that out of the way. So here we go. This is what I'm going to do the ones with the dragonflies on. So they're the little papers that we made. This is the envelope that I made, so I just need to sew that up, which I thought it was really pretty. Let me pop that out of the way. And then I've actually made the journal cover. So with the journal cover I did exactly the same, but I used card. I used tea stained and coffee stained card, and then I've just decoupaged on there with the napkin, exactly the same as I did with the writing papers. But on top of this one, over the top of all of it, all the gesso and the inking, I've popped the Mod Podge, so you can sort of like hear it. So it's a bit more sturdy than usable. So if you're taking it in and out of your bag, it's going to be a little bit safer for you. So you're not going to, if you spill anything on it, you can sort of like wipe it off as well. So that's that. So that looks lovely. So what I'm going to do, so that fits in the bag really nicely. So what we're going to do today, we're just going to finish off the bag. So I'll show you how that's done. So let me just see what stamp I used. Whoops, I think it was the music stamp on this one. So that's this one here. So let's just do a bit of random stamping with the stays on, like so. Just stick it down, just stamp. Doesn't have to be a lot of stamping, just a little bit on here. Oops, a little bumping around up there. Okay, do the back. I have seen some of you have popped on your writing papers that you've made, and they're absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so pleased that you're making them, and I just love you showing me. So I think they look really good, so thank you so much for showing me your work. Okay, so that's that done. Pop that away. Right, so we're going to have some of the script ones. These, I've had a few of you have asked me where I've got these. My mother-in-law actually sends me lots of napkins, and she sent me these, and they're from England. I will find out where she got them from, but I'm not 100% sure, but they are from the UK. And also this one. So there we go. So let's do the front pocket bit. So this is the pocket. So what we're going to do in a minute, we're going to glue that together. But what I'll do is I'll pop this on the front first. We'll have a bit of the dragonflies on there like that. So let's just tear it through here randomly around some of the dragonflies. There we go. onto that like that. So again, I'm just going to glue it with my glue stick on there. But again, if you wanted to use your Mod Podge or any other glue, please do. Don't think that you have to use the glue stick, but I find it's really, really good, and it sticks really, really well. A little big mess again. Okay, let's pop this on here. And this, you can go over it as well with the Mod Podge over the top if you wanted to. Pull this bit up here. Stick it down. What did I do with my scissors? I don't know where they've gone. Oh, here they are. Let's chop these little bits off here. And around this side. I didn't cut that very straight. Oops, easier this way. There we go. Okay, so that's the front bit. I think I might pop a little bit of the script one over, just a little bit in the corner there. Let's do this bit here. Just because it just matches in, so I've just got a little bit of the script on here too. So I'll pop that there. Snip them off. There we are. Okay, so that looks nice. And what I thought I'd do is pop a little bit of the seam binding, just ruchel it up a little bit along the top, so it just gives the edge of the pocket, which I did on the other one. What did I do with it? Here, look. Here, just along here, so it just makes it look sort of like a little pocket in there. So I'll stick that on there first. Right, so then we want a little bit on this bit here. So what should we put on there? Should we put a whole piece on there? Look. So if we just tear this down. These napkins are quite easy to tear. Some of them aren't so easy. But these are really easy. You don't really need to wet it. Depends how tidy you want to be. But I'm quite sort of random in the way I tear things, so I don't really mind. Okay, so that can just be stuck on like that. Can go underneath there. Pop a bit of glue down. All sorts. You can do these with any other bags that you have. You don't have to have these exact bags, and you can probably do it with an envelope as well. If you wanted to just have a white envelope, you could just do the same sort of thing, and you could just put like an extra piece of paper along the bottom of the envelope here, just to make yourself a pocket and stick it on. And then just use the top piece like that. So I wonder if I've got one here. No, I was going to show you, but I don't have an envelope to hand at the moment. Let me just wipe some of this glue. I've made a big mess there, look. Okay, there we go. Cut this little bit off here. There we go, that looks nice, doesn't it? Makes such a difference. Just a little bit of a napkin makes a big difference. So let's just tear this down here. And you want a little bit to go on this bit here. Just in that gap, I think. Okay. Stick that down. There we go. You don't have to do it as quick as I'm doing it. Take your time to do it. There you go. And you won't have a big sticky mess like I've got. There we are. Oh, that looks nice, doesn't it? Stick that down there. Whoops. Okay. So let me just do this side. So we'll use the last piece. So what I've done, what I use actually, I've used 2 napkins in the whole set. So making the cover, the envelope and the 2 writing papers. I've actually used 2, it would be, once I've done this, it would have been 2 napkins I've used. So make sure you've got 2 of the same napkins if you're going to do the same project. Because there's nothing worse than running out of something than when you're halfway through. So let's just tear this down here. We can put this whole piece on as well, can't we? It will fit. Okay. So I don't want the flat edge, we want a nice torn edge. Oops. Okay, that looks good. So let's just put nice big lots and lots of glue on here so it sticks down nicely. Make sure it doesn't stick underneath. I do make sure it's dry first before you go turning it upside down. A bit more glue up there. Okay. We want to stick the side down, do we? Open that up. There we are. Okay, so now we need a little bit of script on this side. So let's have this down here, like that, I think. Still forgot to get my heat gun. I could have dried it with a heat gun. I'm out of practice using it, so I keep forgetting, and I need to unpack it again, because I've packed some of my stuff up to give myself some more room. There we go. Perfect. So that's all done. So we need to let that dry a little bit. Let's just put a bit of glue on there. Perfect. Okay. So that's done. So what I'm going to do, make sure it's not stuck down on the corners. and then we're going to gesso over the top, just the same as we did on the writing papers. So we gesso over the top, and then we can, once that's dry, we can ink it. Let me put these napkins out of the way. Let's have a look. I'll get some grease-proof paper there, so we can have the gesso, so I don't make too much of a mess. Okay, it's a bit too much, I think. So what we do is just take a little bit on the brush and just wipe it over like that. Need a huge amount, just a little bit over there, like that. Turn it over. There we go. Like I said before, if you like to put lots on, then do add a bit more, but I don't like to put a huge amount on. I just like to sort of be able to see it when you've inked over the top, because it gives a nice, a lovely texture to it. So there we go. And once it's dry a little bit, you can go over it again, and you'll be able to sort of like pick a bit more out, so you can see it will actually go a little bit whiter once it's gone over the top of the other dried gesso. So you just need to sort of experiment, really. You get a piece of paper and pop a little napkin on there, and just practice with the way that you gesso on top, and then you'll just get used to using it. There we go, so that's done. Let me just cut that little bit of napkin off there, neaten it up a little bit. There we go. Right, pop that on there, pop this down here out the way. So that's done nicely, so that's just to dry off. So there we go. Let me just show you this one that I've done. So it makes such a difference, doesn't it? It's really, really nice. And this is the, while that's drying, I'll just show you the journal that's in this one. So it looks really nice, because in here it's going to be a bit more wear and tear on this one once you've Mod Podged it over the top. And then you've just got your tea coffee stain papers in there. And I pop some little beads on the end. I use the wax string. It's like the it's just got like a coating of wax on it, so it stops it slipping so much. But you don't have to. You can use embroidery thread, any sort of like anything that's quite thick and quite strong. You can use to put your pages in. And I thought that looks really nice, and it's really nice. And I've just added a little bit on here, which is the same sort of thing that I've popped onto the envelope, so it all matches on here. A little bit of cheesecloth, bit of fabric, and a little bit of seam binding, so they both match in together, and then it just pops inside. So I think these make lovely gifts for people. So if you know somebody that's actually just starting out journaling, to make one of these for them will be lovely. But as I said before, these will be eventually, when I get around to finishing them off, be on my Etsy, in my Etsy shop. So right, I think this is dry enough for now. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of ink over the top, just to bring it out like this. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you. So you can just gesso it, or You don't even have to gesso it, you can just pop the napkin on. But I do love the way they come out. I think they're absolutely lovely. So there we go, let's pop this just a little bit on there, like this. So yeah, you'll have a little bit longer than me to make sure it's dry properly on there. But I didn't want the videos to go on and on and on, so I'll just do that. There we go. So that's that done. I'm just going to sew a little bit of seam binding on here, like this, just ruckle it up. So what I do, I pop it on the machine, and then I just sort of like runkle it up and sew it along. So I'm just going to be 2 seconds, and I'll just sew this. Okay, so there we go. So that's just that bit that I've sewn across there, so I thought that looks really nice. So now we're going to stick up the pocket. So all I've got is my 3-in-1, and then I'm just going to run a little bit of glue down here, just down either side, like that. And then we just stick it like that to make the pocket. Make sure you don't stick the sides down. So just hold that on there. So again, use your Fabri-Tac or your tacky glue, whatever you like to use, and just sew that, not sew that, glue it down. So there we go. And then you'll have your little pocket. So there we go. How easy was that? That was easy peasy as well, wasn't it? So do take your time. Take a little bit longer than I do. You don't have to go as fast as me. But just take your time. And then we've got the little envelopes, not the envelopes, the little writing papers that go in there like that. And then we've got the envelope, which I will be finishing off. And then obviously I'll pop in some papers into the journal, and that just sits inside. So then we've got a lovely little package. So as I said before, they make fantastic little gifts, and you can make either some little tags to go on there, or you can make some little beaded dingly danglies that I did the video on before. So I'll pop a link to that. So there we go, guys. So that's another little addition to our little journal in a bag. So that's the bag. So there we go. So we got that one, and then I've got, again, you can see this one. So I think they look really, really pretty. Well, I hope you give it a go. Again, you don't have to use the bag. You can use an envelope or whatever you've got. You can fold up some paper and do it. So just so you've got like a little pocket in there to pop all your little bits and pieces in. There we go. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.